Hello, Pranjal. Can you hear me?
Hello, yes, I can hear you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing, Pranjal?
I am fine, sir. How are you?
I am absolutely fine, dear. Pranjal, provide some unique information about yourself, which is not covered in this DAF.
So, so I come from a very small town, which is on the bank of the river Ganges, and most of my education has been in the science domain. And I like one of my the good thing about me is that I am quite a guy who's interested into the research and scientific domain, and I want to contribute towards the development of the country.
Okay. So, if you are so much interested in science and research, then why you are opting civil services as your career?
I think, sir, my when I say science and research, I mean the scientific, the temperament, the aptitude part. So I like
Mm,
doing. I mean, I'm into that thing. So that
mm,
temperament, that attitude will help you in any services, be it civil
mm,
services or R&D. So I personally feel that the satisfaction which you get when you do the work for the public is lot more. And considering the development projects which
mm,
are coming with the government, so
mm.
I think my potential can be utilized a lot if I work for this sector.
Okay. Pranjal, imagine that you have cleared the examination
Yes.
and now you have been allocated to the office of district collector,
Yes.
and you are the district collector of, say, the Unnao district.
Yes.
Right? Highlight three steps that you will take to promote scientific temperament in the district.
Okay. So first thing is for promoting scientific temperament, it should start from the basic education itself. So first of all, I will try to gauge the level of education in the district or now, and I will see the curriculum which is there and how is this being followed. So I will first of all try from the very basic part to do that. And second thing, sir, now after completing the basic education sector, then it will be the adult sector. So what we can do is that there are certain employing sectors or the middle age group. So for them, I think that aptitude can be developed through workshops and targeting some industrials, including some industrial sector also, so that making them sensitizing about them about the positive thing. If they will include the scientific temperament and how they can boost the employment, how they can make revenues out of it. So kind of relating science with their economic revenues, because everybody wants
Mm,
to be good with the economic revenue. So second will be that. And so third thing will be I think the older section also will try to target them, making them aware about the IT opportunities which are being offered. So how they can,
mm.
I mean, if they switch to IT and digital tech, then how the things will get a lot convenient for them. So I will try to use these ways to arise the scientific temperament, and definitely in the other like societal basis also, the rationality part, which can be developed through the I would say the workshops, the interactions. I will try to focus on.
Okay. Okay. Pranjal, you have opted for geography as your optional subject.
Yes, sir.
Why did you choose geography and not any other subject?
So my education was on in some subject which was not included as a optional in the UPSC.
Mm,
First thing was that, and second thing was that, sir, I thought that geography provides a lot insight about the country, and as well as the it gives you diverse information about the industries, the physical settings, the resources available in the country. So as an
mhm,
administrator, also this subject will help me a lot. And sir,
mm.
third, I thought that studying geography will be interesting because you get to lot more about your country.
Okay. Uh, you are also presently working as the program manager at Nopo Nanotechnologies, Bangalore.
Sir, I have resigned in last year. I have worked
Okay.
there for
So,
4 or 5 months. Yes, sir, I resigned. In
okay.
COVID, I resigned.
Okay. So, what was your role in that organization?
So I was working as a program manager. So I was dealing with one of the project from Ministry of Defense. So the project was that we were working on designing desalination plants for Indian submarines. So my
Mhm.
target was to develop a project of, you can say, water purifier using a novel technologies of carbon nanotubes, which
Okay.
can surpass the RO,
Hmm.
currently RO technology.
Okay. So while you were working in that organization, what kind of work culture challenges you experienced?
Okay. So
Just
one thing
highlight
was
three.
that, okay, so definitely, sir, one was the R&D part. So when I was working in the R&D company, which was a startup in the country, I realized that currently India is not having a very robust R&D infrastructure, be it public institution or private. So first thing, and second thing is that the workforce which we have is also not. I would say that they lack a certain kind of technical skills. So we need to focus on the from academic part. We have to switch towards the value addition part, vocational training or kind of that. So we are just having a rigid curriculum, and R&D, that validation is lacking. And so third thing was the in this one in my job I faced was the too much dependence on public institution and lack of industry academia linkage. So industry was not linked to academia, and academia was working in solid. So that three challenges which I faced during my job.
Okay. Uh, you have done your masters from Imperial College London.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me something about the history of this institution?
Okay, sir. So this university is based in London. So this is the first university which is purely devoted towards the science and the medical part. So they don't have the humanities. It's just science and the business. It was established in 1907 by the king. I think it was. I'm not sure about the king, but it was during 1907 which was established. And so since then, it has been working a lot in the R&D part. Even the penicillin which we heard of. So the institute has 14 Nobel laureates, and one of the famous being the person who did the discovery of penicillin, Alexander Fleming. So he was a part of the institution. So since then, the institute has been contributing a lot towards R&D, and it has also given a very, I would say, good scientist as well as the good technology. In the COVID also, they did a very good work in the vaccine development, and also that is.
Are you happy with this name, Imperial College? Are you happy with this name?
So I think a lot of negative is associated with the word imperial, because in Indian history we say imperialist is a kind of power concentration. It leads to power concentration, and we cherish the idea of democracy, rule of law. So in that sense, the word seems not probable, but I think the way it was chosen, maybe they want to say that they are pioneer in the science and they pioneer in the technology. So that's why they use that word for the college. So frankly speaking, that I don't have problem with the word. It's just the meaning should be related to the science, not the political meaning.
Okay. So suppose you have to suggest an alternate name, what it would be?
So you mean I am like so part of the administration of the college?
Yes, you are part of the administration of the college, and the task that is given to you is to change the name.
Okay. It's a very tough question, but I would try to use a word which is kind of gives an equal opportunity for also global college or something like that will be my word.
Okay. Suppose I make a call to your former boss
Yes, sir.
in the company in which you have worked, and if I ask him that, tell me three things which are good about Pranjal, what would he or she highlight?
Sir, they will say hardworking
Mm.
and ambitious, and then they will also say perseverance. So I mean, sticking to the goal. Yes.
And if now I ask you to highlight one bad thing in your previous boss, what it would be?
Bad thing. So it's very hard to comment a bad thing about it, but I would say. So it's not a bad thing. It's just the individual quality, I would say. So the boss of mine in the previous, I would say, the company, sometimes becomes, I would say that over ambitious, I would say. I mean, it's like sometimes the target which was being given may be some which cannot be completed, but I think that was there in his mind that he deliberately gave those targets so that even if you complete 70%, then you have achieved a lot. So just setting the targets too high so that people and the teams get motivated. But sometimes this target becomes so high that it can also lead to, I would say, uh, depression. Not depression, I would say. It could lead to the negative because the targets are so huge, so you don't feel motivated to. even
Do you
try
think
for
that this target of doubling the farmers' income by 2022 was also overambitious?
it's like, yeah, the reports and if you see the stats, the doubling the farmer income by this time is definitely a very ambitious target. And but setting it also made sense, because if it's, even if you not make it double, even if you make it like 1.25 or 1.55 times, that will also be better for the farmers, and even the administration will be motivated. So that, I think that is the goal.
Thank you, Pranjal.
Pranjal,
Hello, sir.
yeah, good afternoon. How are you, dear?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
Good, good, good. Pranjal, you have a wonderful name, Pranjal. I would be very interested in knowing what is the meaning of your name, Pranjal. What does it mean?
So it's a Sanskrit word, Pranjal, which means holy water, life-giving water.
Okay, good. Uh, your date of birth also interested me a lot. Why? Because I saw that you are fond of sports. You've played cricket also. And one reason why I wanted to ask you was, are you aware what is your date, birth date celebrated worldwide as?
Worldwide. Sir, sorry, I'm not sure that why is celebrated worldwide, but I will look
It
into
is
it.
okay. Let me give you a small hint. It is celebrated worldwide in countries which play cricket.
Okay, so I'm not able to guess, sir.
Okay, it is called the International Bat Appreciation Day.
International Bat Appreciation Day.
Okay, so were you a batsman or were you a bowler?
So I was a batsman when I was in
Okay.
the team.
So I'm sure you must be doing a lot of things to appreciate the performance or to get the best out of your bat. How did you show appreciation to your bat?
So I was always an opening batsman. So my task was to go and hit. So that was in during the college time, because I had a kind of athletic body. So in appreciation, I used to just raise my bat with the right hand, and that's it.
Okay. Uh, Tell me this particular day that we're talking about, your date of birth, 13th of December. It's also got a very big history when you talk in terms of India. Are you aware about that?
Yes, sir. In Indian history, I'm aware of that. The 13th December, I think 2001, there was a parliament attack. So that happened in Indian history.
Okay. And if I talk in terms of world history, do you have any idea about anything special about this particular day?
So in the world history, I am not sure of that. Why is it famous for?
Okay. If I tell you, this was the day when the last human stepped on the moon. After that,
Yes.
nobody has stepped on the moon. That was 13th of December. Okay. Uh, Now that I have told you that, tell me, can you tell me who was the last man to step on the moon?
Last man onto the step on the moon. Sir, again, sorry, sir, I'm not very sure of it.
Okay. Uh, you just now talked about you had done when you were employed, you did a project for the defense.
Yes, sir.
Uh, do you have any idea about any defense minister of India with whom you share your date of birth?
Defense minister. So I have just met one defense minister, Mr. Rajnath Singh, when I was in the job. So I'm again sorry, sir. I have no clue about the date of birth.
Okay.
I'll look this also.
Okay, good. One thing I would want to definitely know from you is why and when did you decide to make civil services as a career?
Okay. So I think the motivation of going for the job in which you have some social utility came from the IISc as well as the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission. So when I was the part of this scholarship in UK, so they motivate you a lot, like to go for the, I mean, whenever you go back to the country, then work for the development part, social development part. When I came back to the country, there were two options with me. One was R&D and one was the civil services. And what I have realized is the nature of the civil services was changing. So particularly, I would say after 2020, in 2020, when I got a chance to meet the people from defense, the personals from the Indian government who were working on the on the projects for the country's development, as well as the in the civil administration part, I thought that civil services was a good opportunity in which you get a wide domain of subjects to work on. Be it scientific project, be it development project, be it civil administration. So, and the diversity definitely, the social utility which is there with civil services. So 2020 February, I think I got inclined towards civil services. And with COVID coming in, I thought I will try to give an attempt and see how it is, because a lot of time was there and the research labs were closed. So then I prepared in after COVID, and so then I made it in this attempt.
Okay, can you spell for me three values that you possess that you think will help you in the performance of your duties as a good civil servant?
Okay, so one thing is definitely the empathy part. So I have a empathy towards the lower section of society. Second thing, I would say the research intellect part I possess. So sometimes when you belong to a country which lacks in resources, resource crunch country, then with your research aptitude, you can utilize resources in a way so that the maximum out of it is achieved. So that quality which is what I possess. And so third work is the I would say hardworking part. So civil services needs a hardworking individual and who should be already always available to the public. So hardworking I am. So I think these three will help me in the civil administration.
Okay, you said hardworking, research
And
intellect that you have, and empathy. Uh,
yes,
which value would you rate higher, empathy or compassion?
sir, compassion.
Why?
Sir, I think compassion is even a step higher, because when you are compassionate, you just don't be empathetic. You go and actually work out something for the person who is there. So you kind of devise something or you kind of strategize something so that eventually the person with whom you are empathetic gets the benefit out of it.
Okay. Uh, one last question which I would want to ask you. You just now said your boss was very over ambitious, right? Now, if I could ask you, India has set a target of $5 billion defense equipment export. Are you aware
Yes,
about
sir.
it? Do you think it
Yes.
is ambitious?
Yes, sir. So yes, sir. So when I attended the expo, so they have set a target for these much indigenization of defense, which they have done. Sir, I would not say this is an over ambitious target, because it would have been over ambitious if the markets were different. So now what I have realized that they are tapping the markets of the African as well as low developing and the lower developing economies. So I think this can be achieved considering how the world is moving on. But it would be over ambitious if we try to compete with the US or the South Korean companies or the China and Taiwan companies. So I think we have very strategically changed our market itself, and I think this can be achieved if we have good connections and good the MOU signed with the relevant countries.
Do you have any idea what is the target that we have already achieved out of the 5 billion target that we had set for ourselves?
Sir, I am aware that 1,75,000 crore is what they have said that they will produce in indigenously in the defense, and 35,000 crore is something which they will export. These targets I am aware of, sir, but I will look into the other targets as you have mentioned, and then what is the present
Okay.
status.
Okay, but if I were to ask you three steps that you would take to help improve our defense exports, what would the three
Yes.
steps be? Apart from the steps that have been taken by the government.
So first thing will be boosting the value addition in the R&D tech part. So what I have realized is that technology development part is too much time consuming in the country. When we give up a project to the PSUs, they generally take so much time that the technology becomes outdated. So
Okay.
first thing that we have to look into. Second things are the local procurement base. So when we are working on the defense technology part, we will need a lot of raw materials whose manufacturing we don't have in the country itself. So with the defense corridor, we should also complement the manufacturing part of the country simultaneously. Then this will go hand in hand. And so third thing definitely will be the taking part in the international trades, which are MOUs which are being signed, and be vocal about the defense export. And so as one of the steps which has already been taken is tapping the markets, which will be agreeing to accept Indian products, because we should be sure that which countries are there which will act as a market for the country. Not everybody
Right.
will take Indian products.
Good, good, very good. Thank you very much, Pranjal.
Hello, Pranjal.
Hello, sir.
Pranjal, you are from Unnao.
Yes, sir.
Okay. How many tehsils are there in Unnao district?
Just 16, I think.
16 tehsils or
16,
16 development blocks.
16 development boards, so it's 6 tehsils.
Okay. Can you name them?
Yes, sir. So one is Bangarmo, and there is Hassanganj, and sir, there will be Bhagwant Nagar is there, and then ha- Hapur. Sorry, sir, I'm not very sure of all the 6 names, but then sir, I have to look into it.
Okay. Uh, are you aware of any personalities who were part of freedom struggle from Unnao?
Yes, sir. Chandrasekhar Azad. He
Okay.
was.
What qualities of Chandrasekhar Azad you like?
Sir, the qualities of Chandrasekhar Azad, one was the fearlessness which he showed in agitating his voice for the social cause, and as well as not giving up to the demands of the British. So one thing is that, and sir, second thing was the uh, definitely, so fearlessness and courage will be one, and sir, mental strength. So when you're working under the imperialist society and when the administration is authoritative, then you take up that much courage. That was there. And so then perseverance was there, because they constantly failed, but then also they were very vocal with the demands and they came up. So perseverance, they were like for the target. So these are the 3 qualities I think which is good about Chandrasekhar Azad.
Did Chandrasekhar Azad work for any social issue?
Yes, sir. So they were mostly belonging to the socialist regime. So they had this idea. So whatever the voice they were raising, it was for the benefit of the entire society. So whatever revenues, whatever local demands they had. So I think it comes under the social part.
Okay. Any linkage of Unnao with Rishi Valmiki?
The Rishi Valmiki is also a saint from the UP Tarai belt, but and I think there is, in a history it's mentioned that he came to Unnao for some part and he stayed here, but I have to check that whether like what was the proper linkage. But there he was, the Rishi will belong to this the UP Tarai belt, so he might have visited Unnao and stayed here for some time.
Okay. Your father is working as an accountant.
Yes, sir.
So, didn't you have an inclination towards making accountancy as your profession?
Sir, I think the in like the place where I belong, I would say that we are explored to very less opportunities of the subjects in our education. So since 9th and 10th in the school which I was there, commerce was not an option. And when I went for my higher secondary, then I came to know that there commerce is there. So by that time, it was too late to understand whether commerce or accountancy would be something which I should work on. So science and science was just something which was like taken by everybody, and we were also promoted for that. So that's why I just took the science. But later I came to know that this was an option.
So, if given a chance, would you like to change your past and take accountancy as your profession and career option?
So I don't think I will take commerce and accountancy, because after my job, I came to know about a lot of my friends who were science but working as an investment banking or the other in the commerce part auditing. I like their job, but it's like I feel that innovativeness is much there in science, and I'm more inclined towards it. Commerce and accountancy is also a very relevant field. It's just that my personal inclination will be towards the science.
Okay. Your graduation is in material science and physics.
Yes.
Can you tell me difference between plasma and Bose-Einstein condensate?
Yes, sir. So plasma is the 4th state of the matter. So when we say solid, liquid, gas, there is one state of matter in which there can be ionized form of gases, which can be like, so it has become another state of matter itself. And the Bose-Einstein condensate is one state in which it's said that at very low temperatures when you go, then all the subatomic particles can come at one ground level and they will behave just as one single unit. So this Bose-Einstein condensate is a very peculiar state at a very low temperatures in which all the atomic subatomic particles occupy a single state. So that is very helpful if we want to develop the superconductivity and other phenomena.
Can it be counted as state of matter?
So it's the fifth state of matter which they are, it's there in the science which they are trying to develop the fifth state of matter. But still, achieving Bose Einstein condensate is a difficult task. It can be only achieved at the lab scale.
Okay. Event management is your hobby.
Yes, sir.
Let's say you have to manage an event where leaders of various spheres will be awarded or
Yes.
facilitated. What things will you keep in mind?
So leaders, these leaders are political leaders or like?
From different spheres, political, business leaders, social sector leaders.
Mhm. So, sir, first of all, I would try to make proper arrangements of these commutation of these leaders, where are they coming from, and what's the public, like how much is the strength of the people who will be attending this, and then I'll try to make an event smooth for the public as well as the political leaders, and the facilitation would be in such a way that uh, I mean the people who, I would say, the senior peoples are awarded first, and kind of there is no mismanagement in terms of the resort, like the fooding and other capacities, other facilities are also properly facilitated.
So, as
So
far
if
as fooding or catering is concerned, what
yes,
things will you keep in mind?
so I will keep them in mind the preferences of these leaders as well as non public, whether they are like it's a vegetarian or non-vegetarian. So different section will be there. And considering like in the present time, there is a lot debate about the fooding thing. So that separation will be there. And I will also try to make sure that the local administration is informed about it, that what kind of fooding they are bringing in, so that in case of certain, if something mishappens, then a local administration should also be ready to ensure the safety and security and contain any kind of mishappenings there. So food catering, I will make sure I will try to have a, before the event itself, I will try to have a feedback from the local leader as well as the people who are attending through Google Forms, that what are the preferences, how many people are opting for the veg part, how many are opting for the non-veg part, and then making arrangements proportionately.
Suppose in some kind of event, a local leader comes to you and he pressurizes you that no non-veg food will be served. It should not be served. How would you respond? You are just an event manager.
Yes, sir. So, sir, I will try to seek. I will try bring this matter in the front of local administration, and I'll ask their advice on the basis, because this is certainly violating certain rights of mine also. But I will try to take the advice of the local administration. If local administration also tells me that because of the security reasons you should follow what local politician is saying, then I can follow. I will follow the local administration rather than the politician.
Okay. Suppose you are selected as an IPS officer and you are working in any particular district and there are communal tensions rising in your district.
Yes.
How would you respond?
Sir, first of all, communal tensions, I would try to understand the reasons why are they being so. Sometimes these are politically motivated, sometimes there are genuine issues. So if their communal tensions are having a strong background since past, so I will try to have a talk with the leaders of these groups, that what the issues what are coming up and why these incidents are happening, and try to persuade them that they should motivate their followers not to go for it. And then, sir, this will be the soft mechanism which I will take, and there will definitely be hard rules also. So I will try to take the help of the local police and whatever I'm there, and I will increase the security part. Second thing is that, and third thing, I will try to involve the other community, as you say, community policing is also something which I should target, so that the communal tensions are contained and they don't get into higher, I would say, degree of tension.
Okay. uh, I was going through your zonal preference, and
Yes.
what inference I can derive from this is that the states which has a handsome number of tribal population and the states which are underdeveloped, they are being accorded a lower preference by you. Why is that?
So this preference, what I have given, is based upon I am knowing that place. So I have kept UP because it's my home state. Then since second Karnataka because I stayed there for some time, so I know about something about the Karnataka. And so that was the preference according to which I have given
So
those
first,
lists.
pardon me, first is UP and second is Karnataka.
Yes, sir. So my bachelor's was from Indian Institute of Science. So I stayed in Bangalore for 4 years. So I thought that
But
that's the place.
as I can see from your zonal preferences, South Indian states are at fourth order, and in that, Karnataka is at first position.
Yes, sir. Okay. So, sir, I think second is MP then. So you
Yes,
mean,
second
sir,
is M.
okay. So, sir, that thing was that the states which I am acquainted of, I have kept them first, or which share kind of the homogeneity with my state, so that when I get into those states, I have certain kind of similar administration. So MP was the one which has shares boundary, and then language problem won't be an issue. So that's why I have kept MP, and that's a third thing. I think I have kept Uttarakhand because of again the closeness to the UP and the cultural similarity which we share, and fourth is Karnataka. So this was the preference. I didn't want to put the backward state at the back, so that was not the intention. It's just the similar and the place where I will be more familiar with. I have put at the top.
Okay, one last question from my side. Uh, you have a background in research, material
Yes, sir.
science and physics. So a
Yes, sir.
material science and physics researcher can work for the nation better as a researcher or as an Indian Audit and Account Service officer.
Sir, again, I would say, sir, like as a researcher, that research aptitude and research temperament which I have accumulated. So I have worked in research for like 3 to 4 years. I was there, but I would say that the projects kept changing. So you are right. Research and development also provides me an opportunity where I can work. But Indian civil accounts also will have an avenue in which if I go into them, then my research aptitude can make the administration better, can make the accounts accumulation better, and even can make the entire that the system which is there. So I will use my research aptitude for the things which that department will be working on. So it's more about the research temperament, I would say, that will help me in this nature of jobs compared to the R&D. And sir, R&D, one thing I realized that with time, your skill set get very niche and you work in a very narrow range. So I think with Indian civil services, you will have that diversity.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Pranjal, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Pranjal, one final question before we wind up this interaction.
Yes.
Pranjal, highlight something that you once believed in, but you no longer believe in that thing now.
Okay. So I think destiny is the thing which I believe in. Earlier, I thought that everything is kind of planned and everything happens for that reason. But now I feel that it's not the destiny; it's the individual efforts, individual perseverance, which keeps you, which takes you, which brings the things for you. And there is an X factor, but this X factor also depends upon the, I would say, the hard work which you do, and I would say the passion which you have for the thing. So that thing is now what I
Define
believe.
X factor.
So X factor is all kind of factors which the individual can't have control of. Suppose I can work hard for civil services, but on the D-day something happens and I'm not able to reach the center itself. So that X factor is there. People say it's destiny, but I don't doubt it. I'd say that it's not. And it's that X factor I
Are
have
you
kept it,
sure
but
about the definition of X factor?
so this is what I have. Understood from
So
what
this is your version of X factor.
This is X factor is something which I don't have control of, and that can lead to any situation. But then we should not say that it's not in our destiny. Destiny also, gets aligned if you have proper hard work and perseverance.
What the X stands in the X factor? X stands for what?
Sir, X as per my, I would say that the X is something which is variable, which you can't, define.
Okay, X is a variable.
Yes.
Thank you, Pranjal. Your interview is over. We will reconnect with you in some time for your feedback. Stay connected. Before we begin the feedback session, I would like you to analyze your own performance and rate yourself on a scale of 10. Where would you place yourself?
I think I could have done a lot better in few questions because after my interview got over, I checked few questions and I have to work on my Unnao part because in the one of the questions I said something. I said wrong answer. I would say. So grading rest everything was fine, but then some factual questions I need to work on, because like date of birth question was there, so factual data I have to work, and then few of the data from the my hometown I have to work on that. So I think I would like to grade myself out of 10. So what's the average you give generally? Then I would be getting.
See, I am pressing the point that you should evaluate your own self. And anyhow, our evaluation, I will highlight that. What is your self-assessment?
Sir, I think I did average only. I could have done a lot better. I would say at least a point better. So I would like to give myself around 6.5.
Okay.
6.5, sir.
Pranjal, first understand, dear, that this is not a test of your knowledge. Your knowledge has already been tested in the prelims and in the mains. And obviously, you have the requisite knowledge. That's why you have got this interview call. This is a test of your personality. In fact, it is not even an interview, because we are not exchanging views. We are trying to understand the various facets of your personality. What is being tested in the personality test is that what kind of values do you hold as a person? What are the different virtues of your character? Are you a good listener? Can you engage yourself with multiple stakeholders? Are you a good negotiator? Are you a problem solver? Can you resolve crisis? Do you respond or you react? Do you understand that? What kind of opinions you have? Are they balanced, or they're inclined towards one political, economic ideology or the other? Right? So these are the things which are being tested. The idea is to ensure that whether you can be trained or not. And once you're trained, whether you will further help in the delivery of social justice or not, or you will become an impediment in the path of the delivery of social justice. Are you arrogant? These kind of things are being tested. Do you understand that, dear? So let me start from the very first thing. Though this is a mock drill, but you have to take it very sincerely, dear, because even the soldiers who are well trained, they are meticulously regimented over a substantial length of time, yet they do a full dress rehearsal before they go into that 26th January parade, right?
Yes, sir.
So psychologically, you prepare yourself, and your body and mind adapts to that kind of a situation, formal situation. So I would have appreciated if you would have worn a better light colored shirt. This is too vibrant. Are you planning to wear a necktie on that day?
Yes, sir. I'm planning for a
So
type.
you should wear
Yes.
a tie and practice speaking with a tie on, right?
Okay, sir.
It will
Yes.
make you feel more comfortable. You have not shaved, so on that day, I hope that you will be fully shaven. So
Yes.
please do this little things, dear. They matter.
Yes.
Although we are interacting online, Pranjal,
Yes.
and an offline interaction would have been much different, because we would be in a position to access, or to assess rather, your body
Yes.
language, right?
Yes, sir.
But in this kind of an interaction, it is very difficult to highlight what are the flaws in your body language, eye contact, etc. But one thing
Yes.
which I noticed was, at times you were rotating your eyes and you were moving your eyes throughout the room.
Yes.
So it gives an informal touch to
Okay,
the
sir.
interaction. So
Okay.
again, having said that, this is a online interaction. So
Yes.
it becomes very difficult to ascertain what kind of body language you actually showcased. Then you started your interview by saying hello, which is very informal, right? It's a formal engagement there. So you should extend the greetings of the day,
Okay.
dependent upon the time of the day,
Okay.
right? And then when I asked you a question, how are you? There's no need of asking back, how are you?
Okay, sir.
So you understand that? It is
Yes.
not necessary. So avoid
Okay.
that part. Your date of birth, as you have rightly highlighted, date of birth, now related things, you need to learn more about it. Sometimes you were repeating the question.
Okay.
When you repeat the question, the impression that is created is that you are thinking about the question by repeating the words.
Okay.
So it does not appear very good, right?
Okay.
So like, I'll give you one instance where sir asked you, was the last man to step on the moon. You said the last man to step on the moon. Okay, yes. This is how you start.
Okay.
If you want to
Okay.
say these words, just say them within your mind. Do not
Okay.
expressly say them, right? And also, do not, after the question ends, do not say okay. No need of doing that, right? Keep your okay in check. In one of the instances, you said, that's a very tough question. Never say these things. That's a very tough question. That's a brilliant question. It's a very easy question. Do you understand that, dear? Because this kind of things can get you into a confrontation. They may ask you that if this is a tough question, then tell us which question was easy question.
Yes.
You'll find yourself in dangerous waters. I hope you're getting the point. You're understanding, Pranjal? Then on many occasions you said, I would like to say, I think, I feel. These words are again not formal words. Better words would be, I believe, to my limited knowledge. These are better words, right? And when you were not aware about something, you did not say that, I will definitely check about it. I have to read more about it. On some instances you did that, but it has to be regularly done. It opens up an altogether different aspect of your personality. It shows that you are humble, you are eager to learn, and you are showcasing gratitude. Right? Then there was a lot of usage of like. And I'm surprised that you have completed a substantial portion of your education in the United Kingdom. And this like culture is more of the Yankee culture of US, right? In United Kingdom, the language is very formal and polished. So it does not create a good reflection about your communication skills. So avoid that. Cricket related knowledge. You need to improve on that as well. The question that was asked you, how do you show appreciation to your bat? That was the question.
Okay. Okay, sir. I thought it was appreciation through your bat.
Through your bat. This is what you misheard the question and you started. If suppose you have not understood the question, there is no harm, Pranjal, in asking, sir, I have not understood the question. Can you please clarify it in simpler terms? Even if you do that 2-3 times, it would be fine. But think of a civil servant who doesn't listen to the question and takes an action or gives a statement. Right? So hear the question very carefully. Again, with respect to the tehsil thing, you said that there are 16, actually there are 6 or something like that. Then you said 6. And when the supplementary question was, can you name them? You said yes. And you started naming them. Midway, you realized you cannot name all of them. You said, I have to check about it. So it means you're not very much sure about what you are going to say. Suppose it's a very important meeting which is being conducted. The chief minister, the chief secretary, all are there in the meeting room. And the chief minister asks you a question. You say, sir, yes, I know this. And then suddenly in the midway, you realize you do not know. You say, no, sir, I'm not very much sure. Do you think in the whole meeting, he's going to ask you another question? Do you understand, Pranjal?
Yes.
This is what is being tested, dear. It is not your knowledge. If it is a test of knowledge, you are 10 on 10. But this is a test of personality. Do you get it? Zone preferences. Again, it showed as if you have not made a conscious decision while choosing the zone preferences. You said that my first preference is Uttar Pradesh, it being my home state. The next preference is Karnataka. But the southern zone is, at least the DAP that you have supplied to us,
Yes.
it shows that your southern zone has been placed by you at the 4th place. Right? In that, Karnataka is the first choice. Then when it was pointed out that your second choice is actually MP. So your response was what you know? You said this. Okay, then it must be MP. It means you're not sure.
Sir.
Who has filled this form, Pranjal?
Sir.
हाँ, आप ड्राफ्टिंग करके दोगे और आप नोटिंग सेक्शन करके फाइल आगे करोगे और फिर जब आपके सीनियर के पास जाएगा आपको पता है हाँ हो सकता है यही होगा मैंने लिखा होगा यही पता लग रहा है. Do you get that?
Yes, sir.
Try to understand this thing very carefully, dear. Also,
Yes.
One thing, when I asked you that if I make a call to your previous boss and if I ask him 3 good things about yours, you said one of that, you said ambitious. And when I asked you, well, what is the bad thing about your boss? You said he's over ambitious. Well, he could say you are under ambitious. Can you see the confrontation in that? Can you see the conflict?
Yes.
So choose something else. You could say something like, say, one bad thing is he works so much, at times he neglects his health. I don't like that.
Yes.
Make it non-controversial.
Yes.
Right? Why to say कि आपको लगता है कि वो ओवर एम्बिशियस है और वो बोलेंगे नहीं ये एम्बिशियस है, मतलब वो जानते हैं कि मैं ओवर एम्बिशियस हूँ. Do you get it, Pranjal?
Yes.
See dear, the objective of holding this mock drill is to ensure that you go into that final list. And take it from me, I see no reason why you are not getting selected this year. You deserve much more marks. And by looking at your DAF, I expected that these kind of things will not be there in your personality test.
Yes.
But you need improvement on these lines, dear.
Yes.
If you fail on facts, not a thing to worry. Because facts are thrown only to check whether you respond or you react. Right? But you're not sure about your DAF. You're not sure about your personality. You're not sure about your zonal preferences, service preferences. Then that's terrible. That could be detrimental to your cause, right? But if you plug these loopholes, Pranjal, you are a 200 plus candidate. And there is very high likelihood. Now, it all depends how you have written your mains papers. And I'm assuming that you have done well. Then take it from me, there is a very high likelihood that you will be not only in the final list, but you will get the Indian Administrative Service. And you will end up, well, it all depends upon you, how you have performed and how you are going to perform and how you are improving on these areas. Then you could be even under 10, is what I feel. Right? So Pranjal,
Thank you, sir.
this is my feedback.
I will work on all the points.
Yes. Other honorable members will also give their feedback now. After that, I will open the floor for you to ask your questions. And once you're done with your questions, then I'll declare your score. Okay?
Okay, Pranjal, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Pranjal, 2 questions I would want to ask you. Number 1, is the picture on the DAF yours?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So the person who was in front of us looked much different than what the picture is, right?
Yes.
And number 2 was, has the DAF been filled by you?
Yes, sir.
So that is where I felt there was a little bit of a dichotomy, because you were so well dressed in the picture, and when I saw you, I was a little surprised. You know, you seemed you had not shaved. It was a little bit of a downer. It gave a feeling of casualness, right? The first impression was, you know, the shirt that you were wearing, you had not shaved. It gave a feeling of casualness, and that feeling continued throughout. You know, when the first words, when the moment you joined, you said hello. Again, casual approach. It gave a feeling of cap. Now, as very rightly told to you, Pranjal, just remember, this is not a test of knowledge. This is a test of personality. And when I tell you something about the last man who landed on moon, no, if you don't know the name, does it make a difference? Will that affect your performance as a civil servant? No, it will not. But then the way you react to that question, the way you answer that question, that definitely will make a difference to whether you will get into the civil services or not. Remember that, right? So all the questions that are asked to you have a purpose. There is a reason behind it, and you have to understand the reason. And that is the reason why you are sitting here in front of us, because you want your shortcomings to be ironed out. isn't it? You are not here to listen goody things, are you? Yeah? If I tell you you are very knowledgeable, you'll be very happy about it. And I just say, thank you very much. You will do very well, and I'm sure you can make it. Will you make it? What will help you make it is the shortcomings that you have shown today. How can those shortcomings be overcome? And that is the reason why we are trying to tell you a few things which you need to overcome. And believe me, I see absolutely not an iota. I don't have an iota of doubt that you are going to make it. All that is required from your side is to iron out these small deficiencies which have been pointed out, and you surely are going to be in the list, and we will feel proud that yes, you have acted on those points that have been told to you, and you have corrected the mistakes and you have made it right. So please take the whatever the points that have been told to you, the improvement points, take them in the right spirit. Try to correct the situation and make sure that you put your best foot forward so that you achieve your goal. When is your interview, by the way?
Sir, May 17th.
You have enough time, right? You have enough time for the interview, and I'm very sure that you will be able to make it. Okay, now if I can just say a few things. You know, I was very happy to note that you had good knowledge about your name. That was very nice. But when it came to the date of birth, there was a lot to be, a lot left. I really did not feel that you had the full information about your date of birth, except for the fact that you knew about the attack on the parliament. Good, that was required. But you were not listening to the question. You did not listen to the question when you were asked, International Bat Appreciation Day. So, because you misunderstood the question. Now, I can blame that on the online interview also. That could be the reason, but it will do a world of good if you can listen to the questions a little more seriously, and do not try to answer immediately after the question is asked.
Yes.
Wait for a few seconds. Whatever little that you have to say, whether you have to say it's a good question or it's a tough question, or you have to say okay, or you have to say like, all that has to be in your mind, not your tongue. That few seconds that you will take to think will solve the problem. Don't answer immediately. Now, what you were doing the moment you were asked a question, you immediately started, okay. When you said okay, then you took a little time to think. Please don't do that. So avoid these words like okay and the repetitive use of the word like and I think. These are very detrimental because they show a feeling of casualness, right? So that is what you have to do. And repeating the question also is again the same thing. When you were given new information, you failed to thank the panel members. Now, as pointed out, this is a test of personality. We have to see, we are just trying to see how humble you are, how genuine you are, how sincere you are. Do you have humility in you or not? Knowledge is not what is on a test here today. When somebody says something to you, gives you information that you did not have, it is very appropriate that you thank the person, including the member of the board on the final interview also. If somebody says something to you, I mean, if last man landed on the moon, if the information is not given to you, good enough. But if somebody says that, so thank you very much, sir, that I did not know that. Okay? So it adds to your glamour of the interview. So please remember that. Then you said about, when talking about the person from Unnao, you just said Chandrasekhar Azad, as if, he's your buddy. So please, he's a person who deserves much more respect than he has probably got. So if you had said Shri or use any honorific that you feel like, but just don't say the name as simply as Chandrasekhar Azad only. So cadre preference left a lot to be desired, but when you said the 3 steps to improve the scientific temper, I thought that answer was good. But what I really appreciated, the best answer during the whole interview was the 3 steps to increase the defense exports. You did not have knowledge about you said it also. I know $35,000 is the target that we have for ourselves, but I'm not sure about the achievement. Good, doesn't make a difference. We are not here to find out whether we have achieved $9,000 of exports or $11,000 of exports. No, that is not the point. But what is important is the question that was asked, 3 steps, and the 3 steps that you took. But whenever you are giving an answer, please do not give long answers. Your answers were very, very long. At times, I had to cut you short also. So please, the panelists may not have the patience to listen to such a long answer. Right? So keep your answers short. When you're asked 3 steps, just name 3 steps without getting into a preface and the main body of the answer and the conclusion. No, just the 3 steps means 1, 2, 3, the end. Now, this question itself, when I asked the $5 billion defense target that we have, name 3 steps. You should have actually taken just precisely 30 seconds to answer the question, whereas you took, I think, almost a minute and a half. That is how long your answers were. Keep your answers as short as possible, and that is going to help you get much a much better result than otherwise. Right? Let me again close by saying I have no doubts that you are going to make it, provided number one, you keep all these things that have been told to you to improve your performance, keep them in mind on the final day and up to the final day rather. And number two, don't get complacent. Right? Remember, this is a very formal affair, and every step counts. Right from the moment you step into the room till the moment you step out of the room, every step counts. Your body language matters. That is something which we are not able to see and tell you about in online interview. But all this, you will have to make sure that you come up trumps on that particular day. Right? So all the very best, dear, and looking forward to seeing you in the guise of a civil servant very, very soon in your very first attempt. You have all the attributes to make it. All the very best. God bless.
Thank you, sir.
Pranjal?
Hello, sir.
Hello. Pranjal, all major points have already been highlighted. See, what I liked in the whole interview, you have very good communication skills. You have command over the language. Your values answer was nice. When I asked you about why not accountancy profession, your answer was very good. Your physics knowledge is as evident from the DAF. You have very good research acumen and physics knowledge. Some improvement are required apart from what has already been highlighted. Listen to the question very carefully. When I asked you about what is what is the role of a research person in Indian audit and account services, you answered, the answer was decent, but you answered from the perspective of Indian civil account services. Both services are different. I asked you a question from the viewpoint of Indian audit and account services and not civil account services. So at that point, it was realized that you are not a good listener. Okay, so listen to the question very carefully. In one of the initial questions, in your answer, you mentioned that it will help you in realizing this thing. But help you is not a good word. When you are asked a question, you should answer that question from your perspective or from general perspective, not from the perspective of the panelist. It might be colloquially used like this, but you should avoid that in formal setting. Okay. At some places, your laughter was bit informal. There is a fine difference between smile and laughter. A slight smile is good. It lightens the mood. But laughter is informal. Okay. Even your facial expressions and eye expressions were a bit informal, especially on the word worldwide. Some question was there where worldwide word was used. So when you were answering, you said worldwide. Oh, So it was informal. And you didn't thank the panelists, that has already been highlighted. And when you mentioned about the defense minister whom you met, Mr.
Yes.
Rajnath Singh, you should use word honorable defense minister Rajnath Singh. So use proper epithet. So whenever you are mentioning some freedom fighters or some current or even previous politicians who have occupied high offices. Okay. And in the initial segment of the interview, Pranjal, I found that there was bit of arrogance apparent from your facial expressions and how you said hello. So see, humility is a virtue.
Yes.
Humility, humbleness. So you should show those kind of attributes in your personality. And as rightly said, this is a personality test and not a knowledge test. Okay, so take these feedbacks in a positive spirit and you will surely
Yes,
make
sir.
it.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir.
Pranjal, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Pranjal, now you can ask your questions, dear.
Sir, one was some questions like regarding the factual questions. So as already panel members have mentioned that it is not about the if you know or no, it's just the whether you react or you like how it's your approach toward these questions. So because sir, I have always faced problems regarding tackling those questions in which you have to give some facts and figures. So I was like that was something in my doubt which got cleared. And the second thing, yes, regarding from now onwards, if you can advise me that what sources should I follow for current affairs or like because I am following the Hindu right now, and
Okay.
in addition, if I want to do something, then please guide me for that.
Okay. Before I come to that, regarding your zone preferences,
Yes.
if it is asked that why you have placed the zones the way you have placed them, what is
Yes.
your answer now?
So now my answer would be the same thing, but I will be very sure, somewhat different. It will be like my, I would say the similar. I would try to take the job in an environment which I was similarly or I have some knowledge of. So that was
Now,
my.
just put that thing on hold and listen to this very carefully, Pranjal. That your answer should not create breeding ground for fresh questions or should not create an environment of confrontation.
Okay.
The best way to escape these kind of traps is like suppose there is a person who is from the northeast cadre and is sitting in the panel.
Yes, sir.
And if you say that I have placed northeast at the last because I'm not familiar,
Yes.
this is not a good response, right? So better response would be, Pranjal, you say that I have just exercised the preferences because UPSC gave me that opportunity. But I'm more than willing to serve in any corner of the country, in any capacity. Right? Close the argument. If there is a supplementary question, why you have filled this such and such state as your third preference, then you can say that I have considered distance from my home because I have to manage my professional as well as personal responsibilities. Managing personal life and professional life is a kind of social aptitude. Yes. So try to highlight these aspects of your personality. Do not justify things. Right? Anything else, Brad?
No, sir, I think from my side, the doubts are pretty clear.
And regarding the source that you asked for, go for
Yes.
PIB. Right?
Yeah.
PIB. And look in different ministries what is going on, especially Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Science. Because these things are quite highlighted in your DAF. So their major initiatives, the government of Uttar Pradesh, what it is doing to promote science and technology, what kind of scientific instruments are being used to implement the government schemes. There could be variety of questions. In fact, होता ये है प्रांजल कि पहला question आपसे पूछा जाता है, then on the basis of your answers, other questions are created on the spot. Right? This is what is going to happen that day also. So take this thing in the positive spirit, and 17th of May, you have got ample amount of time at your hands to work on these areas. As far as this performance was concerned, we have awarded you 168. But if you make these changes, then there would be an immediate jump of 15 marks to this. Forget about your answer. Just make some simple changes, like do not appear to be very casual, use appropriate greetings, thank the board members, then add 15 to 168. What is the score now?
Sir, 15 you said, or 50? Sorry.
15.
160, then it's 183.
Anything beyond 180, your chances grow enormously. Right? 180 is bare minimum for a candidate like you. You have got a very strong DAF. It's your very first attempt. Everything is going in your favor. You have got an international exposure as well. You have studied in one of the reputed institutions in the country. And then you have also read in Imperial College. Right? Like the answer you gave, Global College. That's a very good answer. Commonwealth College would be a good answer, right? So everything is in your favor. Just don't get complacent. All the best.
All the best, Pranjal.
All the best, Pranjal.